I love subscriptions, and one of the reasons I love subscriptions so much is because retention is literally baked into the DNA of your customers and your subscribers. And just think about it, it sounds so simple and very stupid, but it's very profound. If I come into your business as a one-time customer, and then I just do nothing, what happens? I don't buy again. I'm a one-time customer, you spent a lot of money to acquire me, and that's really sad. But if I come into your business as a new subscriber, and then I just do nothing, what happens? I buy again on a regular basis. It's a difference in default behavior, right? On one side of the coin, I have to make an effort to go buy again, and on the other, I have to make an effort to go cancel. And that is why, for most brands that we look at, their average subscriber is worth 2, 3, sometimes 4 times more over the course of a year than their average one-off customer, right? So it makes a lot of sense to prioritize subscribers in your new customer acquisition. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Great to see you. Thanks for being here. Guys, again, my name is Bryan, here to talk about subscriptions. And before we get into it, can I just see a quick show of hands? How many of you run or work for a brand that has some sort of subscriptions, memberships, recurring revenue? Amazing, amazing. All right, well, you're in the right place. Again, guys, my name is Bryan Stark. I run 100 Celsius, and we are an e-commerce subscription growth agency. And what that means is I get to work on helping brands grow their recurring revenue, acquire more subscribers, keep them longer, increase their value every day. It's something I love doing. And I am really excited to be here talking about this because I think, like so many of you, I really think that subscriptions are amazing. There's so many cool advantages to subscriptions, both for your customers, where they can get their favorite products on routine. Really, I mean, it's a great value prop for your customers. But especially for, I think maybe I think it's all showing at the same time. But anyways, a lot of advantages for your business, right? Subscription brands typically are a lot more resilient and less risky. So you know that if your ad performance kind of suddenly shuts down, you're not immediately going to go to zero with your customers. Your a better ability to forecast, right? So, guys, I don't know if this deck is kind of showing up a little bit funky. Just want to make sure that that's not.
Check.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, we'll kind of push through it. Yeah, so you have better ability to forecast. Subscription businesses are a lot more profitable typically. We know this, right? Because they're over-indexed on repeat purchases. And when it comes time to sell, you typically get better valuations and exit potential for subscription brands. But subscriptions are not a magic bullet, right? It doesn't work like you can just turn on an app, enable subscribe and save, then just grow this big old recurring revenue base. There's a lot of unique challenges to subscription businesses. And we talk to a lot of businesses, and it probably feels like it may be harder than ever to bring in new customers on subscription, right? People are getting blanketed with ads from Rocket Money telling them how many subscriptions they're paying for. And I think people are more skeptical these days. A lot of you new subscribers cancel early, right? So you're spending all this money, you're giving away margin on a subscription discount, and people cancel before their first and second renewal. How do we keep them longer? It might feel like you're completely stalled out, right? So you were growing really quickly and efficiently for a long time, but now things are kind of like really stabilizing. So you're losing as many subscribers as you're gaining. How do we get past that, right? What should we spend our limited time, attention, and bandwidth focusing on? And when we do something for subscriptions, did it actually work, right? Did that surprise gift that we enabled 3 months ago actually impact the retention curve? That's kind of a tricky thing to figure out. So my goal for today is I want to give you 6 really practical strategies that I think a lot of you running subscriptions can use and implement over the next couple of weeks even to meaningfully improve your subscriber growth rate. And the big takeaway, all of these 6 strategies are kind of focused on 2 main things. Thing number 1, how do we increase the percentage of our new customers that we bring on subscription right from the start, right? That is one of our key elements to rapid subscription growth. And then element number 2 is how do we retain more of those subscribers through their second and third renewals? If we can do both of those 2 things, I promise you, you will grow your recurring revenue a lot faster and you'll be a much happier camper. So let's get into it. I want to start with acquisition strategies for subscriptions, AKA, how do we get more subscribers fast and how we increase the percentage of new customers we bring in on subscription? This is the big takeaway that I want you to take from this call or this talk, and that's this. If you want to grow your subscription base faster, we need to get more first order subscribers. And the reason for that is about 70 to 80% of people who subscribe overall time subscribe on their very first order with your brand, right? That's a really impactful statistic. This is an actual brand that we work with, really fast growing 8-figure supplement brand. And look at that distribution. Of all of their subscribers, 87% come in on their very first order with the business, and only 13% come in on a repeat order. That's really significant. What it doesn't mean is that you shouldn't focus on converting one-time buyers into subscribers and repeats, but it's not the big lever. The biggest lever, the 80-20 opportunity, is how do we increase the acquisition of subscribers and increase that first order take rate? And the reason for that is that the biggest predictor of a customer's future behavior is how they're acquired in the first place, right? Shoe buyers buy shoes, sock buyers like to buy socks, one-off buyers typically continue buying one-off, and subscribers stay subscribed. It's a lot harder to change somebody's mind later on than it is to bring them in the right way from the start. And I don't know if this is gonna render properly, but what I do wanna show you is just imagine 3 supplement brands, identical brands, just to show the true impact of the first order subscription take rate. Imagine you're selling the same product. Each brand starts at 1,000 active subscribers. They acquire 2,000 customers a month, has a 10% churn rate, and an AOV of $60. The only difference in these 3 brands is the first order subscription take rate, aka how many of their new customers do they bring in on subscription right up from the start. Brand A has a 15% take rate, brand B has a 40% take rate, and then brand C, they bring in the majority of new customers on subscription at a 60% take rate. Look what happens over the course of a year. So brand A, the one with a pretty low take rate, maybe they're feeling pretty good, right? They've gone from 1,000 subscribers to 2,200, about $130,000 in recurring revenue per month, and they have about 2,200 active subs. But look what happens when you increase that take rate, guys. A brand that can bring in 40% of their new customers on subscription, over the course of 12 months, that compounds. And now they're almost $200,000 ahead in terms of monthly recurring revenue, and about 5,500 subs. And if you can bring in the majority of your customers on subscription at this level, look at the difference. 60% take rate, they've 8x'd their subscriber base. That's why this is so impactful. I really want to make sure that you get this, because this is probably the biggest lever you can pull in increasing your subscriber growth rate. So how do we do this? Well, this is probably not gonna be a surprise to most of you, but we need to create a really no-brainer subscription offer, right? The offer is everything. As an e-commerce brand, I think you have 2 main options to acquire subscribers, right? Number 1, you can actually just restrict customers to only buying on subscription. That's a legitimate option, and a lot of brands do it. It works really well, in my opinion, when you have a hero product that you maybe attach a starter kit to or starter pack with additional bonuses, where you can create a really unique experience around a hero product and then attach continuity to it. But I think for most of you, you're probably operating where you have subscription positioned as a clear value winner against buying one-off. Emphasis on the clear, right? If subscription is a marginal improvement over one-off, your take rate's gonna be really low. It needs to be a total no-brainer for people to choose subscription at a high enough rate. What goes into a great subscription offer? There are hundreds of different things you could do, right? The sky's the limit, but really it comes down to 2 things. 1, how do you increase the value of subscription? And then B, how do you decrease the risk associated with subscribing, right? Both sides of this equation is equally as important. Now, things you can do to make it more valuable, right? A discount compared to one-off. You can do free shipping. You can do free bonuses at checkout. You can do free gifts upon renewals, right, to incentivize retention. Early access to products. Treat your subscribers like members with exclusive perks, things like that, right? On the flip side, reducing risk is really important too. So having a money-back guarantee, calling out easy cancellation, skip, pause, swap options. Actually, maybe let people know that you send renewal reminders, right? Don't hide them, let people know that you send them. All of that reduces friction and makes people feel more comfortable choosing subscription. I like to show this example. This is one of my favorite companies. They're called Everyday Dose. I've been a customer for a long time on the subscription offer. And I think this does a really good job kind of putting all these pieces together, right? They actually restrict you to only buying on subscription through the starter pack, but they're still positioning the discount and the offer against one-off, right, to show you the savings. Then look what they're doing here. They have this huge bonus stack at the start, right? You get a free frother, a free spoon, a free app, a free wellness booklet. They're doing the math for you. Then they promise you free gifts on renewals. And then down here at the bottom, they do their kind of renewal billing reminder policy, et cetera. What this shows you is like, you gotta go beyond subscribe and save 10% if you wanna maximize your take rate. This is, maybe you don't have to do a big old starter pack, but think about how you can flesh this offer out with other components. I think a really good litmus test for a great subscription offer is this. Would people choose to subscribe to my product even if there was no discount attached to it? If the answer is no, you could probably stand to increase your take rate by adding additional components to that offer and positioning it better than one-off, right? So this is a really good litmus test. All right, so we have a great subscription offer. It's a large part of the battle. Now, we need to optimize our offer presentation, because here's the truth. Even if you have a great offer, if you suck at communicating it, your take rate is still gonna be really bad. We see a lot of brands that haven't put a lot of thought into the subscription offer presentation, and it looks a lot like this on their PDP. They have subscription, but their take rate's not gonna be that compelling, right? What are they doing wrong on this? Well, we're not, pre-selecting subscribe and save. We're not really calling out the benefits. We're not really calling out the discount. This is kind of a, it's kind of a blah PDP, and it's gonna have a take rate to reflect that on subscription. We could do a whole lot better. What are we doing here that makes this take rate a lot more, that's gonna make this convert a lot better and bring us more subscribers? Very simple things, right? This is not rocket science, and it doesn't take a lot of energy or resources to do, but this is gonna have maybe a 30 to 40% take rate on subscriptions, whereas the first one might have 10 to 15. We're calling out the subscription benefits right there in the plan selector. We've bumped subscription up to the top, and we've pre-selected it, which is gonna give us a huge bump. And we're calling out the discount compared to one-off a lot more compelling. A lot of you might have something like this, but you're also asking yourself, I have a bit of a dilemma, because I want to get continuity, I want to bring people in on subscription, but I also need to maximize AOV, right? I want to go, what should I choose, right? Is it better to maximize quantity and maximize AOV on that first order? Or do I go for continuity? How do I think about that? Well, one thing I want to show you is that you can actually do both. This is one of our favorite buy box structures, and it's really, really effective for any of you that have like a consumable brand, whether it's supplements, food and bev, anything that you can attach a 3-month supply to or 6-month supply to. And look what we're doing here. So we've attached a quarterly auto renew up to the top. Your least price sensitive customers are probably going to choose that because it's a better deal. So it's going to increase the AOV of your store, but the real magic is in the anchoring effect, right? So instead of people seeing subscribe and save and then switching off to one-off, a lot more people are going to choose to switch off quarterly, but then split the difference and go to monthly auto renew, right? And so this is one of the ways that you can actually increase AOV on your store while also increasing your take rate. This works really, really well for a lot of brands, and if you have something that could be conducive to this, would highly recommend giving it a shot. All right, y'all, so strategy 1, amazing subscription offer. It's gotta be the clear winner. Strategy 2, optimize the presentation of that offer. And then 3, this is a little bit more meta, but it's equally as important. Sell a long-term mindset. When you have a subscription-based product or brand, you need to frame that product for a long-term use and long-term results. It's really important that we do so because think about the reason so many of your customers churn on subscription, right? Maybe they were expecting quick benefits and they didn't see it, right? So they gave up too early. A lot of subscription churn can be attributed to user error, right? People not knowing how to use it, not having the right expectations. And we can kind of mitigate that as brands and marketers by pre-framing that purchase, right? We're bringing people in with the right frame of mind. And I want to show you something. One of our clients, this brand called Mind Body Green, they do something that I really love on all of their PDPs and LPs, and they do a timeline of results and a timeline of benefits, right? They're getting people thinking about long-term use right from the start. So, hey, use this product over time to maximize the results. Week 1, you're probably going to experience this. Week 2, week 4, week 8, week 14, and so on. It's a really cool thing to do, and it goes a long way in helping you acquire the right types of customers and improving retention on the back end. Okay, so we've talked about acquisition. Big takeaway there. How do we increase our first order take rate? A lot of it comes down to the offer, the presentation, and the framing. But now let's talk about retention. I love subscriptions, and one of the reasons I love subscriptions so much is because retention is literally baked into the DNA of your customers and your subscribers. And just think about it. It sounds so simple and very stupid, but it's very profound. If I come into your business as a one-time customer, and then I just do nothing, what happens? I don't buy again. I'm a one-time customer. You spent a lot of money to acquire me, and that's really sad. But if I come into your business as a new subscriber, and then I just do nothing, what happens? I buy again on a regular basis. It's a difference in default behavior, right? On one side of the coin, I have to make an effort to go buy again, and on the other, I have to make an effort to go cancel. And that is why, for most brands that we look at, their average subscriber is worth 2, 3, sometimes 4 times more over the course of a year than their average one-off customer, right? So it makes a lot of sense to prioritize subscribers in your new customer acquisition. But it's not all roses. And you guys know this. If you prioritize subscriptions, a lot of you are dealing with churn, and that's really frustrating, right? All of your subscribers will at some point probably cancel, but if they're gonna cancel, most people are most likely to cancel right before and right after their first renewal, and then the rest are most likely to cancel right before and right after their second renewal. Meaning, for a lot of your new subscribers, you're never getting to rebill them, right? And then after that, maybe you get one rebill, and that's not how you build a thriving subscription base. I'll show you, this is a distribution graph that we've done that we do for a lot of brands that plot out the frequency of days until churn, meaning on what specific days do your customers typically cancel. And what we typically see is something that looks a lot like this. So first renewal reminder and order processing, you see a big spike, and then you see another big spike right around that second renewal reminder and order processing. What you also see though, if I could go back, maybe one slide. But what you also see, and I don't think it's going to show up here, is look at the way that churn starts to stabilize, right? After that second renewal, churn starts to decrease. What that tells us is that any retention initiatives that we focus on should largely be centered right around that first renewal and second renewal, right? How do we get people past the first rebill? Then how do we get people past the second? And if we can do that, then it has an amazing flow-through effect all the way down the life cycle for that subscriber. So how do we do that? Well, one of our favorite things to do for brands is to level up their billing reminders. Billing reminders are not sexy, but the truth is, your billing reminders are probably prompting a lot of unnecessary churn. Most renewal reminders look a lot like this. Your order's about to be processed, Bryan, in 2 days. If you need to make any changes, click that button and go manage your subscription. And I, as a customer, I see that, I'm like, I'm about to be charged again. And then I should probably just go cancel this now. Am I really using it? And that's why you typically see such a high correlation between these reminders and churn. But the cool thing is that they don't have to be so clinical and bad, right? They can actually be really cool customer touch points. Here's some examples of recent renewal reminders that we've done. And I know you can't really see those that well on the screen probably, so let's break down exactly what goes into one of these reminders and some different things that you guys could implement in your own subscription billing reminders. Okay, so let's think about the mechanics of this. We're not just saying your order is about to be processed. We're building excitement from the start, right? Hey, good news. Your next order is coming up soon. We're really excited for you to get it.
Dude, this is so sick.
Yeah.
Because like so many of us on the sub side, it's just a reminder and it's text. And I'm like, well, legally I have to do this. But if I were to make it like a piece that they actually want to receive,
yeah,
this has to be just by design as incredible, right?
Right. It's really, really impactful what you can do here. And I think these notifications get overlooked so much. But these are, when you think about subscriptions and email, right? It's a lot about mitigating the churn that's caused and prompted by communicating with your subscribers in the way you have to do it, right? And this is one way to do it, right? So we're getting excited. A lot of you use subscription apps that allow you to use surprise and delight or rewards, right, upon different renewals. Your billing reminder is an amazing place to put that because now people are thinking, oh great, I'm getting a free gift in my next order and not, oh, I gotta go cancel this. It taps into loss aversion, and that's a really, really impactful way of translating those surprise and delight rules into real business value. Tell them what they're gonna get, of course, it's transactional, but why not do quick action buttons to help them delay 1 week, delay 2 weeks, delay 4 weeks? Maybe add one-time upsell and add-on options, right? That they can add to the next order rather than cancel. And then, of course, manage my subscription down below. But anywhere where you are communicating with subscribers in sort of a transactional way with these notifications, these are amazing opportunities to go the extra mile, update them, and I promise you if you do this, it will decrease your churn. So next, we've got the renewal reminders, we've got those transactional notifications up to snuff. We gotta think about how to create a new subscriber onboarding experience that gets people using your products. I really think that the #1 goal of a business, right, for their new subscribers and really for just customers in general is how do we get these people using my product consistently and how do we get them results? Your post-purchase email flow for this is great, right? This is a Sun Lane event. A lot of you are email folks and you probably have a post-purchase email flow that's dripping out content and information. That's great, do it. But emails are just a little blip in people's day and people pay less and less attention to them. It's not enough, right? You really, I think, want to pull out all the stops. Maximum effort on onboarding. And there are a number of different ways you can do this, right? There's so many things you can do to improve your new subscriber onboarding. But just a couple of options you might want to consider. So think about, yes, sending that new subscriber onboarding series via email, but don't stop at email. Go with a SMS flow as well, right? Maybe you're doing a coaching and a check-in flow where it comes from somebody on your customer service team and they're saying things like, hey, I saw you just got your order. Awesome. If you need any help, just text back. We're here for you, right? Or here's a link to our product usage guide. There's a brand called Perfect Keto that does something that I think more brands should follow. And they create a centralized product usage hub on their website where customers can go and they can learn about everything that they need to know to get results with their product, right? How to use it, the protocol, recommended dosage, all that stuff. They would be a good one to check out if you want an example of what that looks like. Maybe try proactive phone calls or voicemail drops from customer service. Improve that unboxing experience, maybe get some package inserts going. And yeah, Michael Epstein from Postpilot talked yesterday. They're an amazing company to use for post-purchase, right? They have the ability to automate handwritten cards. And this is an amazing place to do that, right? Somebody checks out on your site, they're a new customer, they get a handwritten card from the founder. Hey, thanks so much for your business, we appreciate you. Nothing else? Imagine what that's gonna do to your retention rate. So big post-purchase goals here, pretty simple. Get people using and consuming your product as soon as possible and consistently, and let them know that you care about them, right? The bar for customer experience is not very high these days, especially in e-commerce. It only takes like a 10 to 20% lift in terms of effort there to really stand out for your customers, and it's well worth doing. Strategy number 6, retention. I've saved not necessarily the best for last, but the one that I think many of you will be able to quickly make some changes to and recover additional recurring revenue very, very quickly, like today. That's to optimize your subscription app's cancel flow. This is the actual experience people go through when they're in their customer portal and they go to cancel. And your cancel flow is not a root cause fix for churn, right? Don't get it mistaken. This is not going to fix your churn problem, but it's a really great Band-Aid. We typically look for a target save rate on these cancel flows of about 8 to 10%, meaning that for every 100 subscribers that goes through, you want to be saving about 8 to 10 of them or more. Most brands are kind of in that 3 to 5% range that we see, meaning that a lot of you will have an opportunity to double or even triple your save rate with just a little bit of work and a little bit of thought. So how do we do that? Now, I don't have time to go through the entire playbook, but I will just kind of go through the general steps here. So step number 0 is just go ahead and make sure that cancel flow is activated. If it's not, click the button. Even the default, rocking with that for a while is totally fine. It's going to be better than nothing. Step number 1, though, is before you make any changes, go export your data. Most people never look at this. They never look at their cancellation flow data, and that's a real shame because there are some amazing gold nuggets in there. If you export it and sit with it for an hour, I promise you, you will learn some things that you can use to reduce churn, improve conversions on the front end. Maybe run it through ChatGPT, have it ask it for some help, but this will be a really, really productive hour. Now, once you really feel like you've got a good handle on why people are canceling and why people are churning, go back, realign your cancel reasons with 1, the most common answers, that 2, you have a direct rebuttal for. I'm actually a believer that you probably don't want to list out every cancel reason in your cancellation flow. You want to keep it really tight, really focused, and make sure that you have a rebuttal for everything. If you don't, push people into the other to get that open-ended feedback. You want to be testing multiple different offers for each reason, right? Does a one-time discount work better than a multi-order discount? Does a free gift work better to recover people? All that's worth testing, and let that stuff run, right? Get enough sessions, continue optimizing, reanalyzing it, and after enough sessions, you'll be able to get that up to 8 to 10% plus. All right, so quick recap here. Lot to cover. I guess the recap's not there, but two big focuses, guys. How do we increase the first order subscription take rate? And how do we keep those subscribers more through the first and second renewals more consistently? Well, y'all, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you for dealing with any of the technical slide issues. Been a real honor to be here. Feel free to download these slides if they're helpful afterwards, and I'll be around the event if you want to chat more about this.
Bryan.
Thanks, guys.
Any questions for Bryan on the subscription stuff? I see one front left. I'm coming your way.
I can talk about another brand, but Margaritaville has 20 million visitors to their resorts, to their retail stores. We just did a co-branding deal with with Tandem Surf. Modern Shelving's the other brand.
Yeah.
With Tandem Surf in Margaritaville. We don't do any subscriptions at this time, but I am so subscription curious, especially after driving you last night. You sat next to me in my surf van. I feel like we have a connection. In front of all these people, how do you recommend that Tandem Surf sets up the killer subscription model for this Margaritaville / Tandem Surf collaboration so that next year I can be up on stage with you?
Wow.
Talking about what we did together.
Yeah, we want that.
That would be amazing. That's a big question.
You better sit the fuck down.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so you have no subscriptions. Like, what are you thinking? Do you have any ideas right now of what would work well?
Well, what I'm thinking is people want to learn how to do things on the water. Our mission is to get people together on the water. We have the benefit of all these millions of parrot heads that have not been exposed to the experience of riding waves together with their family and friends, or paddleboarding together on Tandem Surf sit and sup paddleboards. So as they're going through that initial experience at a resort, if we invite them to become a member of our surf club, if you will, an exclusive club for Margaritaville members. They could get access to tutorials, they could get one-on-one consultations and so forth. I think there's a way that we can build a subscription model around this. I'm so fired up after listening to your talk.
Yeah.
I must be in this business. I can't just sell products. I must sell more.
No, recurring revenue is amazing. I mean, I would say like big question I would have for you right now is, do you want a subscription or do you want a membership? And that's actually a good distinction to make. And there's some, I almost would maybe want to look at what a membership would look like for you guys over a subscribe and save model. You know, very, very similar recurring revenue, but there's different ways to structure it. I would talk to the guys over at Inveterate or whatever, and I think they might have some really good ideas, but happy to talk after.
All right, let's do it. I'll give you a ride to the after party.
Thanks.
Awesome. Any other questions on the subscription side of things?
Just time spent on the optimization of the cancellation flows, like how often, priority compared to everything else? Because it sounded like you're going descending order of importance.
Yeah, kind of. It's important. I would say it's one of those things like a abandoned checkout flow or something like that, where a lot of the value comes in having the boxes checked. The big issue that I think I see a lot is that a lot of people just never optimize it, never even change it. So they're just rocking with the defaults. I think there's a lot that you can do in the course of an hour or two, getting this dialed in that's gonna save you thousands. So it's definitely something to prioritize, but it's not gonna take you a lot of time. And then as far as how often to kind of review it and optimize it, it's more about how many entries that go through it, right? So you just need to have enough statistical significance to like be able to pull out actual results, really. So I don't know, every month or two, depending. And if you have a really high volume, you could do more frequent iterations. But yeah.
Yep, all hands. Nice.
All right, one question is, have you worked with a brand that has...
Ash, pull it up a little bit.
Pull it up?
Thank you.
All right, we're going up close. But have you worked with a brand that used their welcome offer, like pop-up, and created a funnel that went straight to subscription as the offer versus a normal, discount that you see on e-commerce brand?
Yeah.
Can you repeat the question back?
Huh?
Can you repeat the question back?
Yeah, so the question was, do you see it being successful to promote a welcome offer for like an email pop-up that would apply only to subscription rather than kind of globally? And I think the answer is yes. You definitely can, and I really feel that a great option for a lot of brands is to kind of like restrict people's options actually, and to push them into subscription. But also, it could be a free gift, right? It doesn't have to be in the form of a discount. It could be, use this code or buy on the starter kit. And there's a lot of different ways to promote that welcome pop-up in a way that's gonna get you that conversion on the email sign up, but also is just going straight to that subscription offer. So yeah, I do think it's a legitimate option, something to explore.
Okay, cool. And secondary question to that, any success of having people funnel to a specific PDP for subscription versus having the one PDP that shows the subscription and one-time offer?
Yeah, definitely test it. Definitely. I mean, I think a lot of brands, even a lot of brands here, will just have people going to a subscription-specific LP or something like that. And if you can get a similar conversion and the AOV is roughly similar, like I'd rather bring people in on subscription than one off, right? So.
Is that something that you've tested in the past, or?
Yeah, different brands have tested it, and it kind of depends on the brand and the product and the offer, but definitely worth, I would say, giving it a shot.
Got it. Thank you for answering all the questions.
Hi, so I work with a pet brand, and they do sell some items subscription-based, some items not. Mostly the food is subscription-based. I was wondering, because we give them most of the discounts based on how frequent the subscription is. A 2-week, you get 20% off. A month, you get 10% off. But what we were seeing is just an increase of people just subscribing for the 20% off for the first 2 weeks and then canceling like a day before their renewal.
Yeah, right.
So we were more considering leaning towards making it a first-time regular purchase, like taking out the subscription offer from the PDP, and then with an email like retention tactic, getting them back to subscribe. What would you think about that?
If you do that, you're going to grow slower in terms of your subscription base. Your overall churn might be lower. but that's really just a question that you have to ask yourself is like, what do I care about more? I would say that it could be an issue, less of people gaming the discount and more an issue of the timing that you have on your selling plans. Like maybe a lot of those people that are coming in on every 2 weeks, like I would not couple the discount with the time frame in that way, because I think what's happening is you're incentivizing a lot of people to maybe take a 2-week subscription that they wouldn't otherwise take. And so if you decoupled those two, you might actually see less of that gaming behavior and better retention. And I think the 2-week subscriptions, if it's not, you said it's pet food? Okay, so it's like, it's got to be in the freezer and the fridge, right? So it's perishable.
Some of them that do have the 2-week one are very small bags, like
Yeah.
about 6 ounces. So you would need to re-up every 2 weeks, but I would understand, because we coupled, like you get the discount based on how frequently you do it. But if you're saying,
Yeah, it's just not a good way to to structure it. And imagine like with your shipping time and fulfillment, it's like they could literally get the product and then 3 days later be getting a renewal reminder, right? So.
We run into this too. So we have a major first purchase drop off because we incentivize someone in basically 20% or 25%. And I basically said, I'm trying to grow my subs as fast as possible. I do not want to deal with reminding them with email because open rates are absolutely terrible. So I would say, don't do it 2 weeks. We're about to play with getting rid of 2 week, only offer the month. And we sell like 6-pack, 12, 18, 24.
Quantity is better to attach different quantity breaks to more of like a common sense subscription cadence. Yeah.
And I subscribe to dog food topper. And if I got that before, I'd be like, fuck, I got to give my dog triple this. And now she's even fatter. Right. So like, I don't want to deal with that.
Right.
Hey, Bryan, thank you very much for kicking us off. Well done.
Woo! Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks.